Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IS Academy. So here we continue our NCERT series. Now in your 7th standard there is one more chapter of Indian society, that is chapter number 9, family and community. So we look at what is family, what is community, who all constitute a family, what are the different types of family, and then how this family again is the most basic unit of socialization, and then what is community, how is it different from family, so on and so forth. So let's get started with chapter 9 of 7th standard NCERT for Indian society. Now, as always, NCERTs are basically beginning with a quote. So here they have given the quote of Tiruvalluvar. Now, Tiruvalluvar is saying that love and dharma are the flowers and fruit of family life. So for a family life, what are the flower and fruits? Love is the flower and dharma is the fruit. Now dharma here is not a religion as such. Dharma here is the duty. So the duty, one's duty towards the family is the fruit, and one's love towards the family is the flower, is what is being said. As I have told you time and again, these quotes can be used for your essays and answers. Now what are we going to learn in this NCERT? Let us see that. So the very first question which will be answered is, why is the family unit important? Second, what is a community and what is its role? All right, so let's get started first with family. So let us understand what family actually is. So family is basically almost all of us, they are saying, live in a family, because of course there are people who are orphans as well and who may have no one to call them as their family in orphanages, living on their own, right? But yes, maybe orphan becomes their family. Of course it may not be able to replace the parents and siblings, etc., but maybe tries or makes an effort to bring up the children who are without any family. But almost all of us at least have have a family, so we live in a family. Now what is this family? Family is the fundamental and most ancient unit of society as well as unit of socialization, wherein we basically study about the society. We basically learn things in the family about the society, and hence it is a unit of socialization. I hope that is clear. Now the families can be of multiple types. They have mentioned certain types over here. For example, a joint family. Now what is a joint family? A family wherein several generations are living together. For example, there will be grandparents, then the grandparents, son and daughter, so that will be your parents, for example, and then you yourself will be there, and then you may also have your children going forward, right? At the same time your siblings will be there, your parents siblings would also be living, so for you they will be your uncle and aunts, for example. So all these people, so let me just mention it over here. So you have your own sibling, as I have already mentioned, plus your parents may have their siblings, so they will become your aunt or your uncles. So that is how basically a joint family is. Now at the same time you may also be living, you can also live in a nuclear family. Now what is a nuclear family? Nuclear family basically is a small sized family, right? So let us see how they are defining the nuclear family. So as you can see over here, here the two families which are depicted. So here possibly the siblings are there and their grandparents are there. So siblings and the grandparents that are there, then parents also that are there, right? And maybe this person is the sister of this guy, and maybe basically multiple generations living together as such, right? So what is a nuclear family? In nuclear family, so these are the examples of nuclear family: husband and wife and their unmarried children, or at times there can be a single parent family itself. For example, the mother alone as a single parent and the daughter and the son that is there. Now this is also an example of a nuclear family. So a nuclear family, on the other hand, as they are saying, is limited to a couple and their children. These children are basically unmarried children, right? And sometimes one parent and children also will represent a nuclear family. Now, one interesting point which NCERT mentions here is that in English language is very restrictive in nature. It borrows a lot from various other languages. Now, this English language, there it does not consist of many terms to describe family relationships. For example, we call uncle aunt, right? Now, your mother's brother is also an uncle, your father's brother is also an uncle, your mother's sister is an aunt to you, and your father's sister is also an aunt to you. How do you differentiate? But in our Indian language, in our regional languages, in Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, all these languages, there are multitudes of words, various words specifically describing the relationship. For example, they have given the example of Hindi language. There is Bua, Tau, Tai, Chacha, Mosi, Nana, and Nani, and many more. For example, in English language, if you say grandparents, now you don't know whether it is parents of your mother or your father. But in Hindi, you can say Nana and Nani, which is your grandparents from the mother's sides. You can also say Dada and Dadi, which is basically your grandparents from your father's side. So our our indigenous languages are quite rich, whereas that is not the case with English language as such when it comes to defining the family relationships, right? So some languages such as Tamil also have different terms for elder brother and elder sister, or younger brother and younger sister, right? So for example, for elder brother, they will say Anna. So in elder brother, not they, we all can say in Tamil language, of course, right? So in a Tamil language, for elder brother we will say Anna, for a younger brother we will say Tambi. So Tambi, you not just know that Tambi is your brother, you also understand that Tambi is your younger brother, and Anna not just a brother but an elder brother. So all these words are present, which makes it absolutely clear and gives you a better or let's say more information, right? So as I said, elder brother is known as Anna and younger brother is known as Tambi. You should know these basics, right? Now in most Indian languages, you will find one other interesting thing, right? That there is no such word differentiating the cousins. So whether it's your own brother, let's say real brother, or a cousin, you will still have the same word. Why? Because cousins are only brothers and sisters, right? They will always be brothers and sisters. That is why no separate words for them as such. I hope that's clear. Now let us understand the roles and responsibilities that are there among the family. So the relationships among the family members are based on love, on care, cooperation, and interdependence. Love, we all know, pyar, love, sneh, premam. That is what love is. We have care, cooperation, we cooperate with each other, and interdependence. Interdependence means we are dependent on each other. We are dependent on each other. That is interdependence. Now cooperation means working together. Each member of the family has a role and responsibility towards the other member. They have given example. For example, parents are responsible for raising us, for raising their children to become a happy and well established individuals, and they are also also to become responsible members of the society. At the same time, when we grow up, it is our responsibility to take care of our parents, not just our parents but also our siblings, so on and so forth. Especially if we are elder brothers or elder sisters, we are going to take more care of our younger brother and younger sisters. The onus generally would be on us, and this is not as such a job or a task. It is something that we do out of love, care. for each other, right? So it should not be taken as a job. Now, in many homes, children also learn some of the traditions and practices of their family that has been followed for generations together, right? Now, following our dharma means duty or doing our duty, has been an important principle of the Indian culture. Absolutely. The family which we live in is also our school, which teaches us a lot of things, where children learn important values such as ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence, which Gandhiji also preached. Then dana means charity, giving. Then seva, that means serving, and tyaga means sacrifice. Now, individuals in the family, they often give up their own needs in the family to take care of the family needs. Now, this has been beautifully explained by this anecdote in NCERT, wherein they have talked about Shalini, who lives in a town of Kerala, and she lives with her mother and father. Her father basically runs a small business, and her mother is a teacher in a nearby school. Now, Shalini has a younger brother. At the same time, her grandmother, Achama, right? Her grandmother, Achama, that is father's mother, and Chittappa, that is father's brother or paternal uncle, and her Chitti, that is aunt or basically uncle's wife. So who are there? Basically, we have Achamma, we have Chittappa, and we have Chitti, right? Now she lives with them. Now what has happened is, they means who they, Chittappa and Chitti, they have a daughter, that is of course Shalini's cousin. Now Shalini, who she calls Chinni, so Shalini calls her cousin Chinni, so possibly a younger cousin, right? Now Shalini's uncle, who is Chittappa for her, he has lost his job, and her aunt is a homemaker, so basically they don't have any source of income. Now the whole family is preparing for a festival of Onam. Onam, very famous in Kerala especially. Onam is a festival famous in Kerala specifically, right? So Achama told Shalini's father that his brother was having financial difficulties, so they will not be able to buy new clothes for the festivals. Now we all would like to wear for, in most of our festivals, it's the time of celebration, right? Except for certain festivals wherein mourning would actually be there, but majority of our festivals are a time of celebration. Similarly is the case with Onams, wherein you will be buying new clothes and all, right? But Achamma tells that there is no money as such, because Shalini's uncle has lost his job and is facing financial crisis. Now when Shalini's parents take her to buy new clothes, what they do is, they don't just buy new clothes for Shalini and her brother, they also buy for Chittappa, Chitti, and Chinni as well. Now, because of this, what is happening is, Shalini, which was supposed to probably get the silk dress which would actually be costlier, which she was supposed to get, will now be not provided to Shalini because other expenses are also there. So she rather gets a plain simple cotton dress instead, right? So for a simple cotton dress is what she gets. Now Achama explained this to Shalini, that this is how families support each other. Now because of that explanation and understanding, Shalini did not mind this new cotton dress, right? Or the simple dress that she got. Rather, she was happy. Why? Because everyone in the family could get some sort of new clothes. So this is a beautiful example of how people in the family have roles and responsibilities, and out of love and care do things for each other. A very touching story. Now that story was set up in Kerala, right? Now another story is being talked about from the village of Meghalaya, wherein a person named Tenzing. Now he loves mountains, that he lives in, right? Now of course the life in mountains, we go as a tourist and we enjoy, of course, but when you are actually living day to day life in the mountains, it can become a bit difficult as well. So his father runs a small grocery store after his mother became busy in local handicraft cooperative, making his beautiful traditional fabrics, wood carvings and other items for sale to tourists. His father also joined in cleaning the house, taking care of our small vegetable garden, so on and so forth. So basically he's talking about his family setting and other household chores his father does. Often he helps his grandmother. So here he is his father helping his grandmother. Now grandmother has all sorts of interesting stories to tell him with humor and wisdom, right? Now no one seems to understand people as she understands, right? Now grandfather also helps with my homework is what he's saying. He's also actively involved in social work in the colony and is also offering his help in other things. For example, when there is a power failure in their area, he goes and registers a complaint at the nearby office. When their neighbor's house got damaged in a storm, he collected some money as charity from the whole neighborhood and repaired it. Amazing job his grandfather is also doing. Now, Tenzing says that they are lucky that their parents can take care of the basic necessities like food, clothing, etc. When any special expenses come up, I have often seen that they discuss them together. Mother says that they should always try to save some money for any unexpected needs that may arise in the future. So this is what his story is, right? So this is how everyone is taking care of each other. Now let us move on to the concept of community. Now these families that are there are connected not only within themselves. So it's not that we are connected only within the families through our father, mother, brother, sister, spouses, etc., but also with other families and the people around them. We live in a community. We are surrounded by our neighbors, with our service providers, with the shopkeepers, and all these connected group of people, we call it the community, right? Now there are other meanings for community depending upon the context, but we are taking this context right now. Now member of a community, they come together for various reasons like celebrating festivals, organizing feasts, weddings, other events. Even at the time of needs, they come together. If there is any disaster, people would serve the society, provide free food, clothing, shelter, so on and so forth. Now in some villages, people come together to support each other with agricultural practices, land preparation, sowing, harvesting. Over time, communities often agreed upon some practices on the use of shared natural wealth, resources such as water, grazing land, forest produce. So basically coming together of the community doing things together. Now, to some extent, this remains the case in village communities in rural India today, right? So, such practice, what is called, we call them the rules. However, it is said that these rules are not written as such. They are rarely written down, but it is the understanding, the connect that the people have with each other that they follow it. Now, within the community, individuals within the community have specific duties to perform. Otherwise, the community will not function smoothly. So we all have a job to perform in the community. If we don't do it, of course, the communities may not function. I hope that is clear. Now, they have given an understanding or an example here of the Madhya Pradesh state. So year, the region around the town of Jhabua in Madhya Pradesh suffered from acute water crisis. Following their Halma, right? We'll see that Halma picture over here. Tradition of coming together to support an individual or family in times of crisis. That is what Halma is. Please note this down. The Bhil community, they decided to plant thousands of trees in the villages. The Bhils also dug many trenches to conserve rainwater, created other water harvesting structures, and they did not get paid for this. So they did not even do it for money. They did it as a service or a duty towards their community and the environment. How beautiful example this is. Now in the Halma tradition, the objective is to serve Mother Earth, right? Is to serve our Bharat Mata. It is to serve the Mother Earth, the nature Earth, Mother Nature that is there, right? So in 2019, Shri Mahesh Sharma of Shivaganga movement was honored with the Padma Shri award for this transformational work with the Bhil communities. Right now, in the same fashion, during the Chennai floods of 2015, the roads which were converted into rivers and water streams, people could no longer move around them. So, what happened? Many private groups, in particular spiritual, religious organizations, they cooked large quantities of food and distributed it to the people who needed them. So, this is what? This is community service, right? Now, the real life stories about above stories that I have talked about, they illustrate community in a rural context. Similarly, community in the urban context also exist. However, it may function differently is what they are saying. Now, this is Halma wherein they are digging the trenches, coming to support, What a beautiful scene that is. Hundreds of people coming together to support each other. There can be nothing more beautiful than this, right? Then people are there celebrating the festivals together, helping each other together, doing work together, creating these ponds, etc., to remove the water scarcity that is there. This is really heart touching, right? Now, more than 20 years ago, in the area of Ahmedabad, that is in Gujarat, they're talking about Kamal Parmar, the owner of a small auto fabrication workshop. They noticed an underprivileged children on the street. Now, some have dropped out of the school while others have never been to school. So, what did Kamal do? Kamal started teaching them from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. every day after his regular work. He also provided them with free dinner. Now, soon, few children converted into 150 plus, right, who were attending the classes regularly and were deeply interested in the lessons. So a small effort led to such a big movement. A few teachers from local school noticed this and they also started contributing. One of them in fact said that these children don't get proper benches, etc., to sit on, have no silent zones. The classroom is nearby the street, so vehicles and all are there, lots of noise, yet these children pay full attention to what the teachers telling them. Now, this is what touched that teacher's heart. The love and affection he got from them was unbelievable, it seems, right? Not just that, some elder children who were attending these regular schools, voluntary schools, also joined the teacher as volunteers to teach in Kamal's classes. In fact, one of them remarked that we went there to teach, instead we learned a lot from them. So the people who were going there to teach were also learning from such classes. A beautiful thing in India, right? So now the new types of communities are also emerging in India and across the world, right? In the last 20, 30, 40 years, the Residents Welfare Association in many urban areas are basically example of communities that make their own rules and regulations, right? Those could be rules about the waste management, the cleanliness, the common areas, taking care of pets, so on and so forth. We all live in the community. We participate in making such rules and regulations. I hope that's clear. Now, communities that are there, they are the ultimate interdependent. They are also dependent on each other. The same Residents Welfare Association, for instance, will depend on the trading community for the supplies and on municipal workers to handle the waste, right? So in our complex societies, everyone depends on a number of other people. So just think of it, we depend on so many people. A simple example would be your, of course, outside your family, we are talking about in communities, of course your family is there. Apart from that, your teachers, the doctors, the engineers, if God forbid something has something happens, you need blood, so the donor of the blood, the hospital, the nurses, and the garbage collectors who are there, who keeps our surroundings clean, the people who clean our society, clean the roads, clean the houses, clean the garbage. All of them are a part of this community and we are dependent on us, and I believe that in some way or the other they would be dependent on us as well. This is how the society functions. And when we are dependent on each other, do we ask each other's religion when we need something? Do we ask their caste? Do we ask their gender? Right? We don't. Right? We don't ask. We simply ask what is the blood group. So if your blood group is O positive, you would want the blood group that is O positive, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the gender. That is what a true community is. That is what a society is. Now that is the kind of society we have been living in, and we need to ensure that our society remains like exactly that, right? So now I hope we have understood that community is a flexible concept and there can be a lot of examples of community as well. Now jati is also a subdivision of it and is also called as a community. In the same manner, there can be group of people of a particular religion, region, common work of interest, especially smaller group may also be called as a community. For instance, they have mentioned Mumbai's Parsi community, Chennai's Sikh community, America's Indian community, Kerala's scientific community, our school's art community, villages farming community, so on and so forth. So we may put them in silos, but remember, even though in this book it is mentioned about the different silos, it is not mentioned in a negative sex, not in a discriminatory manner. This is just simply people coming together, helping each other out. So this is not for discrimination, rather to unite and work for each other. So Sikh community would be helping other community in that region, the Parsi community helping or benefiting other communities in the region, so on and so forth, right? So we all help each other to function together, and that's how our community lives in peace, harmony, and prosperity. So that's about it in this lecture. Now various other let's say chapters would be there in the other NCERTs also, which we will be taking up. Thank you.